Saturday. We have now gone round a bit and reached the end of the week. Last week we went all the way from Kronos to Bethlehem, the House of Bread, and talked about shoes and how it all connects with the Sabbath and a lot of crazy things. If you haven't seen, check it out. And on Wednesday, we opened up the chariot pattern. And so let's try to circle back and see how it connects with Kuranos, is also known as Saturn. Now, considering Kuranos is the god of time, we cannot ignore the clock. And the clock holds similarities with the chariot, the turn round. So let's start with chariot, because I'm pretty sure there are carrots in this rabbit hole. So from Middle English, chariot, ultimately from Latin carrus, meaning wagon. From Latin carrus, ultimately from Proto-indo-European cursus, zero grade form of curse or sirs, doublet of chorus. Now the word chorus made me think of the Portuguese word curral, meaning a pen or an enclosure for animals. From Old Galician Portuguese corral, maybe from Vulgar Latin corralis, from chorus, meaning chariot. So, we're finding the correlations, and it is circling us back to the chariot. And so from this enclosure for animals, curral, there's also another Portuguese word which correlates here, the word for fence, which is cerca. So we had the Proto-indo-European sirs or curs, and then we have cerca here from Vulgar Latin circa, circa 99, from Latin circus. Then circus from ancient Greek krikos, meaning ring, ultimately from Proto-European skur, meaning to turn or to bend. Now, speaking of rings, Saturn has rings. Since Kronos is the Greek version of Saturn, let's take a look at krona, the Swedish currency. Latin corona, you might be familiar with that one. So corona actually means crown, and that is why the currency is named after that, as it pertains to the crown from ancient Greek korone. Let's move on and circle back to circle. We've been here before. I wanted to go back to point the Proto-indo-European word is cur.
It's also curious how they switched the S, so from curs it becomes skr.
To turn and bend. So let's take a look at this one. So it means to cut off, sever, to separate, to divine. And it correlates with Kuranos again, as he of course holds a scythe. So let's take a look at course, since of course. So again, circling us back to the Proto-Indo-European curse, like it's a curse. So let's take a look at curse too, from Old English curse, of unknown origin, but maybe not. Now let's take a look at the ancient Greek word for circle, which you might be familiar with. Kuklos. Speaking of courses, of course, kuklos, and it's a circle, and you can note the similarity with the word clock as well. Kuklos, clock, clocks. And since we mentioned that type of circle, let's take a look at the word church. So from Old English, certus, from Proto-West Germanic, "sorica", an early borrowing of Ancient Greek "kuriakon", neuter form of "kuriakos", belonged to the lord, from "kurios", meaning ruler. Let's take a look at the Cyrillic script. From Ancient Greek "Kyrillos", denoting saint, lord,
denoting Saint Cyrus, who devised a predecessor to the Cyrillic script.
Now when we analyze the Ancient Greek Kyrillos, we get Kyrios, lord, or Kuros, meaning Cyrus. If you don't know, there is Cyrus the Great, and he was a Persian king who reigned from approximately 559 to 530 BC. So, of course, he was a lord. Um, so when we take a look at the etymology of that Kuros, we get from Old Persian Kurus, Kurus, of disputed origin. One theory is that it is from Elamite Kures, meaning shepherd, bestowed care, protector. Speaking of Persian and lords and all that, in Zoroastrianism, circles are a prominent symbol. You can see here, and he's also holding a ring and a staff. And the symbol is actually also present in ancient Egypt. Since we're talking about religious symbols, let's take a look at cross. From Latin crux. Things are starting to get a little crooked. So, crux, from Proto-Italic crux, of unclear origin.
And speaking of cross, well, some are probably more familiar with the shopping cart. Some might be familiar with the Cartesian coordinates. I think I'm unthinkable.
Now, to close the circle, let's circle back to circus. We get the Proto-indo-European ske, which means to cut, to divide, to sever, and of course when you are cut you get a scar.
From bending, let's go to light bending. Light bending, also known as reflection, occurs when light passes from one transparent substance to another, causing it to bend.
Well, now that's very crooked with time, as we experience it as an inherent quality of reality, simply be a distortion, twist, a bending of light. Now Sunday will be a good day to get it straight.